Here is a horse that is new to the in-hand flexions. I saw from a video of him with the owners working with him that he had kind of an immobile jaw, and I wanted to work on mobilizing the jaw, as it is key to the communication of the bit plus the relaxation of the horse. You can see that he's quite mute. He does not really express a relaxed movement of the jaw when I pick up the contact. So stretching can help. It also is part of the symmetrizing of the horse to flex the neck both ways 90 degrees, watching carefully for any tipping. Interestingly enough, this horse has a very flexible neck and still very immobile through the jaw. So I continue with the flexions from the side, and he offers some tipping, which I correct with my offside rein, because tipping causes more tension, not less, and it also can lead to balance problems. I apologize if I'm talking a lot, but this horse was very, very interesting with a lot of small details that I think it is important to recognize. As we're going through the flexions in hand, flexions to the side, trying to show him a way to relax, he still remains quite immobile and non-speaking. So I find that very, very interesting. Here I'm using a technique from the École de Légèreté that Mr. Carl has named action-reaction. What I'm doing with the rein over the pole is putting light pressure on the corners of the lips in an upwards fashion, so I am not putting any pressure on the tongue at all. And what I would like to see, among other things, is can you trust me to take your idea into my hand, not pushing, but in an inviting kind of way, in a confident kind of way, that you trust my hand and you can extend the neck. This is something that we will do from under saddle to show the horse, I want you to extend the neck. I also use this quite often to discover the horse's idea of contact. Since I'm not working on the tongue at all, I get a clearer indication of what does he think about the bit in his mouth? What does he think about any movement of the bit in his mouth? What does he have to say about it, if anything? The more I work with this horse, the more I see that he is very self-protective. The jaw is very immobile, so there's an internal bracing there. And so I want to use all of these tools not only for their first purpose, but also for the second purpose of let's mobilize the jaw and have him relax more. If you clench your jaw, a lot of things happen in your body, and it's the same with horses. Sometimes it is profitable to offer them a cookie so that they can have the bit in their mouth and have a pleasant sensation at the same time, a pleasant taste. So they can realize that they can offer a relaxed movement, even though it may not be the movement we want while riding or working with the bit, but at least it's relaxed. Interesting, when I hold my hands close to the bit, he stops savoring the cookie, which is really interesting to me. When I take my hands away, he starts chewing again. Here I notice that he's starting to speak a little bit more, not necessarily with his mouth, but with his body language. He's starting to express some discomfort, not physically, but emotionally. And he's starting to express his idea of contact and communicating through the bit, which is some anxiety and some frustration. So I want to keep that in mind. Right there is another example while I'm working with him. Here I'm asking for that action-reaction idea. And again, he's now expressing some anxiety and some frustration. Where can I go? I'm not sure what she wants. And when he does come to this position, he actually freezes a little bit, kind of going away to a safe place in his mind. For now, I'll accept that, of course, but I don't want him to feel like he has to mentally or emotionally go away to find a safe place with me, as well as a safe place to interact with me through the bit. When he gets stuck, you will see me rock his head gently back and forth. I don't want to increase the pressure on the corners of his lips. I want to try to help him break out of that frozen place to try to give me some response to this request. Now, at least upon the release, he is starting to mobilize his jaw on his own, which is helpful. Here is a nice step forward as he's mobilizing the jaw while I'm asking him to extend the neck and extend his contact forward and downward. So that's nice. And here he's actually interacting with me and looking at me instead of looking away. So we're starting to develop some rapport, which I believe is very important for this horse in particular. I give him plenty of time to process what we're doing and realize that I'm not pressuring him. And sometimes we get releases like that, like a head shake, which is another way that he's showing me that he's starting to be able to process this. But again, he freezes a little bit. It is very easy for him to go away in his mind to somewhere where he feels safe. And I want to keep drawing him forward to realize that he can trust people, especially through his mouth. Now I'm picking up to ask him again, and he mobilized the jaw and gave me a response almost immediately. Every little step matters, and every little step needs to be rewarded. Here he's starting to experiment with some other movements of his mouth. A little bit of frustration, but at least he's exploring, so I am very much okay with this. Yes, explore what you can do with your jaw and your mouth and your tongue. I'm not going to stop you, and I'm not going to block it. More exploration here, and I'm just allowing this to happen because it is a distinct change and a distinct release from what he was doing before, which is blocking, locking, and freezing. Here we start seeing the frustration coming to the point where he's having a hard time tolerating. So his feet start to move and he starts getting more agitated. So I start thinking about maybe a change in my idea. I want to finish with this request that I asked of him, and then I'm probably going to try something different. I have explained to him that he can be relaxed and mobilize his jaw and trust the hand while standing still, but it's different entirely to ask him and explain the same things while we're in motion. So I begin that process by walking in this action-reaction position with light contact, saying, can you think forward and downward, quietly pull open while we're walking? I then pause for breaks for him to be able to think and process. He gets a little bit frozen again, which is his way. He's kind of an introverted and unconfident type of guy, but this allows him to have time for release should he choose to do so. And this is just wonderful. Big release, big yawns. I'm really letting go of the jaw and realizing that, this might be okay to do around people. I go ahead and do the same thing both sides. We want them to be symmetrical. And again, he is worried about the contact while in motion, so I stop and give him an opportunity to go back to what he had learned and mastered. He mobilizes the jaw well, right there, and so I say, that's good. Good job. Notice, however, his frozen position. He will tend to go here. I want to repeat because I know I'm building new neural pathways. So I want him to have opportunity after opportunity, since this is not hard work, but brain work, to really grasp these new concepts. I don't necessarily want him to go this far down. That's not necessarily my goal. I want him to relax into the contact, but I'm not going to be critical of him at this point in time. Here he gives me the first attempt to reach into the contact while walking. super happy dance. So I want to pause and say, that was really good. Oh, he sees something. Oh my gosh. And then I say, hey, can we mobilize the jaw again? Can we relax the neck? Ah, good. I will always be very aware of noticing his frozen state. That means he is not capable of learning in that moment, and I need to wait. Then he mobilizes the jaw and he's back. Yay! With the bit, I can start putting in a button that says, come back, mobilize the jaw, trust me, I'm here, interact with me. Now I go back to see, does he more easily mobilize the jaw from the first position? Which it's kind of odd, but yes, he much more readily mobilizes the jaw. So that's good. We're getting somewhere. I'm looking to close this session with relaxation and jaw mobilization, especially as they are applied to the bit. So I'm rewarding him for the relaxation every time I interact with him and the bit. Right here. There you go. Oh, don't push. You're okay. Yeah, hi. It's nice to see you. I'm glad you're interacting with me. And moving the jaw. Oh, yeah, a little frustration. It's okay. I'm going to let you have a little bit of time. If you're going to come back, I would really appreciate that. He is staying here. He is staying low, which is a vulnerable position for him. And he's exploring different things with his jaw. The big releases are something that are really important to me to discover. And I can tell he's like really looking like, what? Oh, what are we doing? Oh! That's what I want. Big relaxation, trusting me, waiting for me, yielding the jaw, and interacting with me. This is a very successful session. So I'm offering him again a treat to close the session on a very positive note. That's what I want him to take away from this session for the next session tomorrow. Pickle and I will see you next time.